So, when you talk about the killing of American citizens, just total speculation, Dana, I mean, I'm reminded of Anwar al-Awlaki, Obama, that byproduct was killing of 3 U.S. citizens via a drone. It actually happened.
It's interesting because Jesse made the point last week that General Jack Keane had talked about this and said, yeah, this is okay. And what he said on Newsroom this morning is that if you're not used to seeing things like this, like when you watch the video, it's very upsetting and it's unsettling. But also, like, I am in television. I'm not a soldier. I'm not a warrior. I don't know. So that's not my job. The administration has said that they would release the video, and maybe that is what people need to see. But I do think that Democrats are falling into a trap again because most Americans are not going to sympathize with the Maryland man or any of these drug runners. And that at the end of the day, when it comes out that like these people are doing this, you get to maybe another 80-20 issue. And it can be unsettling. You can be uncomfortable with it, but you can understand why they are doing it to try to cut down on narcotics coming into the United States.
Yeah, and Harold, I think that's a key point. I mean, politically, people don't sympathize with narco-terrorists. People don't sympathize with illegal immigrants committing crimes, with, everyday American citizens committing crimes. But somehow Democrats always find themselves in the posture of defending these groups.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I do think that you make a point that I didn't quite understand what Congressman Moulton was saying, and maybe I missed the inner part of we didn't.
He's saying that he's in a very tough primary in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yes.
He might be saying about it. If whatever the substance is there, I don't get. But I hear you. Democrats are going to counter, Kayleigh, that President Trump pardoned an Honduran drug dealer himself who was convicted in an American court of law. So I think going back and forth on that front, we could go back and front on. And partisanship, unfortunately, has become kind of the driving principle in our politics. President Trump releases this video on Truth Social a lot showing these boats being exploded. And then some will argue that, well, we don't want to release all of the video. Then I would encourage the president to stop releasing these videos. Because if you're going to release this video, I think it's not unfair and unreasonable to think if there are questions around whether or not they should be bombing once, twice, 3 times, I don't know. I'm a believer like you. If we can stop drugs from coming in our country, we should do it. But if you're going to release this video and you're going to have video be seen by members of Congress, and I might add, there are Democrats and Republicans in the Congress and the Senate today. I saw the senator from Nebraska on with a Democratic senator on with Shannon Bream just this weekend saying that we want more. I think it might have been Tim Kaine, that we want to have more information sent to us about these things from the president. We think that we have an oversight responsibility that we must exercise. But I would agree with you on one thing, Kayleigh. I don't want drugs brought into this country anymore. I said on this show last week, I think we also have to deal with our own appetite and demand here in this country as well, as even as we go after these things. 2 things can be right at once. But if we don't want to release all of the video here, then we shouldn't be releasing this. Because I think this only feeds the partisanship and the calls for transparency. If some don't want transparency, and it also feeds the ugly partisanship that I think, unfortunately, punctuates so much of our politics.
Jesse, I mean, the left's in search of their next scandal and release the video. I mean, I don't think this is it.
He'll probably release it. And like Dana said, people might not like it. But that's the difference. Barack was smoking people in the Middle East. Trump's doing it in the Caribbean. They're both terrorists. Barack Obama hid it. Trump's not hiding it. So what would you rather know? I think I'd rather know the truth of what we're doing, and then you can decide during the election what you like or what you don't like. This is the most popular foreign policy action of Trump's second term. Killing narco-terrorists. You know what the second one is? Bombing the Iran nuclear program. So the Democrats are now coming out against the 2 most popular things Trump's done abroad this year. Dumb. People love these videos. They hit your feed, they're like, yes, let's go, hit him again. And if you're against it, you sound like a lawyerly, whiny, effeminate weasel. All of them sound like that. What is the Democrat strategy for combating these narco-terrorists? They don't have one. It's to do what they've been doing since the 80s, which is nothing at all. Have the Coast Guard find him, bring him into court, get him bailed out, and never find him again? Exactly. These Coke boats are not flying a country's flag. Under international law, you have to fly the flag of the country. If you don't, you're a stateless vessel. And stateless vessels that pose a threat to the United States or are engaged in illicit narcotics smuggling can be fired upon. They can be sunk. And so if you're an unflagged vessel, it's not a war crime to shoot it out of the water. And that's just the law. And I don't even like lawyers.
You like me?
I make an exception
For
some
Harold.
people at this table.
Yes.
and Kaylee.
Tyrus, I'm sure you have a message for the effeminate weasels eating kale.
Yeah, stop by my house for steaks sometimes and push-ups. Listen, I couldn't be happier to see these boats go up in flames. Little known fact, maybe not known, when President Trump did the Gutfeld show, this was my question. This was my policy.
Oh.
Can we take drug dealers from different countries and label them as terrorists so our military can go after them and our police force who has been hammered by defunding and everything else? And the president said, you know what, that's a good idea. And you know what, that was a damn good idea.
Was.
Now here's the thing. Everyone who's talking about the double this and double that, these boats don't just kill the people that OD on it. They destroy communities. Fathers get strung out on drugs, they don't come home. We have seen, and when drugs got real prevalent in the 70s, we saw neighborhoods that were places where kids played outside and everybody knew each other to ghost towns. The drug epidemic in this country has destroyed cultures. It has killed more families. It has destroyed more careers. And these guys have been able to go into this country. The question that I always ask is, what makes you oppose something like this? What is in it for you to oppose this? Did you personally grow up studying drug dealers from Venezuela and you have an emotional connection and you want another bit? What is the reason why that these people come out to take these 80-20 issues? And it's always the same thing. You never come out to fight against something unless it's in your interest. So the question we need to be asking is, what's in the interest of these politicians who come out and fight for this when you can go in any one of the neighborhoods in any city in our country and see the results of drugs? Take 10 steps and you'll find a reason why those boats need to be up in flames.
And you interviewed Trump before the election
Yes,
and suggested this.
yes.
Okay, so Seth Moulton and Rachel Maddow can thank Tyrus for this.
Yeah.
But if we're going to
Please
criticize
send
them,
your postcards to kiss my ass. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm glad you asked the question, but I just don't like the characterization that we Democrats. Did you agree? I don't mean to be an a-hole about this, but did you agree that the Honduran president should have been pardoned?
I think you found a niche issue, and please
It's not
hang
a
on that
niche.
issue going into the midterms.
No, I
because-
don't think he should have been pardoned.
Okay, it's just
I
a
don't
simple
either.
question, right? It's just a yes or no. I don't have a problem with blowing these boats up, but I do think if you're going to show the video and Congress people and the Senate, we have a Constitution. They want to see it, then just let them see it. Jesse's
agree
right.
with that,
I'm
too.
for the transparency. I didn't like what Obama did.
I
I'd
wasn't
much rather
throwing
this
you in the
way.
box, my brother.
No, the Democrat stuff. I just think it's just a little. If there's some Democrats that are weird and wrong on this, I'll say it.
I mean,
but we ought to just be consistent.
Hang the midterms on the Honduran
For the
part, and I'm
purpose of
sure
this
it'll work
argument,
out well.
I don't know too many Republicans that were coming out against the boats. That's why I said Democrats.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Senator Fisher from Nebraska does want to see more information on this, but you're right. I don't understand what Seth Moulton was. I like him. I don't understand what he was saying.
He's in a tough primary. Is that?
You did answer the question.
Great
You did answer
talking
the question.
points. Disseminate those widely among the Democratic Party. All right, up next.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.